Welcome back to Tales from the Soundcheck podcast. This week we're going to review another banger of a track.
In 2022, Carnifex re-recorded the song "Lie to My Face" featuring Adam Warren from Oceano.
This track was originally off the 2007 Dead in My Arms record, and the new version did not disappoint.
Fucking Carnifex.
Oh man. This record, Dead in My Arms, was the record of all records for me for Carnifex.
Yeah, this is like the only record. I'll be completely honest. Like, I've been familiar with Carnifex since probably like 2007, 2008. This is the record I remember first hearing from them. And this was the first and like really only song that I really like clung on to. Cause at that time, as you know, Dave, like 2006 to 2008, there was so much deathcore coming out at that time, and like I was into Whitechapel, Suicide Silence, Impending Doom. There was just so much stuff, and then you had all the local stuff, and then you get caught up in like certain little bands and shit. That's just how it is. But like, I remember seeing videos of these dudes live and being like, "Fuck, I really needed to see these dudes," and I hope to one day.
They're very good live.
From what I've seen, yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah, they were really big when Amir was doing a lot of stuff, and Whitechapel was like
Hmm.
in their not their prime, because I can say I think they're in their prime now. Personally, I think they're murdering it. But bands like My Children, My Bride,
Hmm.
stuff like that was a lot of fun to watch. Carnifex be a part of, but this band fucking hit hard. There's something going on in the mid 2000s, kind of like in New England with the metalcore. There was something going on in San Diego County, Southern California area,
Hmm.
uh, with deathcore and heavy bands, like really, like obscenely heavy bands.
Hmm. I mean, I already listed a couple of them. You had Doom, Suicide Silence, and Carnifex. So it's just like perfect storm of just like fucking brutality.
Yeah, man.
On the East Coast, we had like Amur and the Acacia Strain.
Hmm. Yes. This song though, the old version, first and foremost,
Hmm.
uh, still sounds good in a pair of headphones, nice set of monitors in the car. It slaps. It's heavy. My favorite part, I think it's everybody's favorite part, is the what the fuck part.
Of
Like,
course.
it's just fun. It makes. I found myself, even with the original version, I mean, it's the same song, just re recorded, but
Yeah.
I found myself again making that like somebody laid a nasty fart in the room face throughout the whole song. Like, oh, this is so heavy.
The highest form of like compliment to a metal musician is when
Yeah.
you make the stink face at him.
Metal flattery is from metal flatulence.
That's about right. That's about right. Fart jokes are fantastic. Shit jokes are fantastic.
Farts are fun.
Yeah.
They're fun. If you're not laughing at farts, who the fuck are you?
Come on now.
You would never have survived in any of the bands we were in if you did
Oh
not like
God,
farts. You'd have been gassed.
no. Literally.
Uh, the new version of this though, Adam Warren adds a layer to it. Oceano, awesome band. He's absolute disgusting vocalist, continuing to get better and better, which is crazy because 10 years ago we were all like, oh my god, this guy's amazing.
Yeah, just the voice, his presence, the delivery,
Yeah.
like just like he's a fucking beast. Like he's such a good vocalist.
Yeah. And the new track sounds great. Um you can hear things a little bit. I wouldn't say clearer, but you can hear things. Some of the guitar layers are more pronounced.
Hmm.
Uh and it's you can tell it's done with modern stuff as opposed to back in 2006 and 7 when stuff was it wasn't archaic, but methods were different, and like we said in the other review, technology was vastly different.
I think it's a combination of not only the technology coming further, but people perfecting and learning their craft and sharing it. Like that's like a huge thing where people are doing different techniques than they were doing then as far as like, oh, how am I going to compress this vocal, or how am I going to you know, do this specific thing to get this frequency to pop out, and how am I going to accentuate the bass throughout. There's so many different layers that goes into making a modern production. But when I listen to this song in particular, what I think is like kind of cool in a way is the fact that, to me, it's very reminiscent and similar production wise, like uh, not production wise, but tonally, I'll say. Like the guitar tone, the drums, like just the overall performance was like uh, still sounds like them, but in that same sound, but it was like a blanket was lifted off of it, and you could just hear it just more clearly, but like it was still just like raw and brutal as fuck.
Yeah. You have to remember too, most of the members of the band, uh, most have been around since like maybe 2 years after that record
Yeah.
dropped. So, like we said in the other episode, perfecting it, just going back and seeing what works. And I will say though, like with Bleeding Through, I don't know how you can say Carnifex could get heavier, but
Yeah. Yeah.
the breakdowns were filthy, absolutely filthy. And the tone of the guitars were really good. Like you said, you could it almost like you lifted a blanket. You can hear where their fingers are on the fretboard
Hmm.
and the movement of them, because that song does have a lot of really sick riffing in it.
It really does, and like you definitely hear it. It's much more pronounced on this track, and that's like a really nice as a guitar player to hear that.
And just the amount of riffs in the song too.
Yeah.
It's you can actually like really make them out, and the level of disgust in your face changes, you know?
No, that's for sure. Kind of like going off the same thing that we did in the last episode. It's just, again, I love the fact that these bands are going back and just being like, all right, let's just do it how we always done it and capture it correctly. And yeah, it they hit the nail on the head with this one.
The gutturals are amazing in this track.
Absolutely. I mean, all the vocals are fucking top tier, and I love that in this re-recording, Adam got to take on both of our favorite part, the "What the fuck," and he just goes into those brutal gutturals. What the fuck? When I first listened, it I'm not gonna lie, I was like, okay, where's Adam in this track? And then quick little research on YouTube, I found a short of him doing his spot, and I was like, that's awesome. Like I was stoked that that was him during that part, and then seeing it and then listening to the track, I'm like, okay, now I can actually kind of like tell the difference, because if you listen to it blindly, it can be kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, there are a couple spots where you're like, that sounds like him high and low.
Hmm. Especially because they're both in like very similar ranges.
Yeah, both him and Scott are very rangy. You know, they They have really wicked highs, and their lows are demonic.
Yeah.
So it's and you the only difference between them where I might have thought, and it's wrong because clearly this was not the spot that Adam was in, was hearing like the diaphragm in
Mhm.
certain spots, and you're like, oh, that sounds like something Adam would do. But good on Scott because he fooled me.
For sure.
One thing I love about Carnifex is that the vocals are so fucking brutal. Everything about that band is brutal, and they should be very proud that they're one of the heaviest bands ever.
Yeah, I would almost dare say they're like you know, what Cannibal Corpse is to death metal, they are that to deathcore, in my humble opinion.
Ooh, I hope they like that one.
I'm just saying, like when you listen to, there's so much good deathcore, and I'm not discounting any of those other bands, but like the whole theme of their band, their lyrical content, like the way they present themselves, the music, the brutality, just the absolute fucking, y- you know, the darkness in their music. It's like the themes they go with. It might not be, removing zombie babies from women giving birth or whatever, like the crazy album covers you would see from Cannibal Corpse, but like it just brings you to, like, some of their stuff can bring you to a really dark place, and like it's, if you're in a dark place as a person listening to that, it can be really cathartic.
Yeah,
And so, like, that's, and I feel like people would also feel the same way about just like, what was going on in the 80s and ultra conservatism and all of this stuff. And they just wanted an outlet because the world wasn't really all, sunshine and rainbows like the Reagan administration was trying to paint it. So, like, the obvious response was all this brutal fucking metal that came out. So I think they were just a band of the time, and like, post 9/11 and all the bullshit that we were dealing with at the time.
yeah. I really can't get enough of the 3 minutes and 5 seconds of a barrage of just breakdown after breakdown after breakdown
Seriously.
of this song. I've listened to it maybe like 6 times. Such a endless, well, not endless, it's 3 minutes and 5 seconds, but you know, you get the picture. It's and the squeals in the new track, unreal.
Mhm.
The squeal game is so
Abso-fucking-lutely.
so good. So good. I don't really have much more to say other than it is a 3 minute barrage to the senses. And it's a great track, and I'm glad that they did it. And like you said, I hope more bands do this that have been around for a while.
Like I said, it's just cool to see, like I said, they literally just re-recorded the same song, but you know what I will say and go out on in this is hearing this again. I've been listening to it a bunch this week, and now it's like, you know what? I'm gonna finally go back and like give Carnifex an honest listen, because, like I said, I was always aware of them. I just never dove into their music, and like this song and that EP were like the only things I was really familiar with. So I'm gonna give them a fair shake and like really like dive in a little bit, because like hearing this definitely made me interested again. That's awesome that just re-recording an old track and putting it out there can do that for people who have been around or brand new fans. So I'm fucking stoked. Like, keep doing this.
Yeah, keep it coming. All bands, Carnifex, keep it coming. I'm excited for their new record, which is supposed to drop on October 6th, I believe.
That's it. That's the
Uh,
date. That is the
Pick it
date.
up. Let me get the name of it, just so we can. Necromantium. Is that what it's called? Yeah,
Yeah, Necromantium comes out
uh,
October 6th.
there it is.
Nuclear Blast.
This is an awesome song, and all I can say is make America heavy again.
You're
Yuri?
Thanks again for tuning in for another episode of Tales from the Soundcheck podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Tales from the Soundcheck podcast and listen on Spotify where you can follow and rate the show.
Don't forget to hit that little bell and subscribe to our YouTube channel for full episodes and future exclusive clips.
If you have any comments, want to chat with us on the show, or have your band featured, please DM us or email us at talesfromthesoundcheckpodcast@gmail.com.